What's going on there, everybody? Hope you're having a great one. And Mortal Kombat Collection just revealed earlier today, and that is going to be a legacy collection. People have been asking for this for a very, very, very long time. And of course, we know Mortal Kombat coming out in 1992 with Ed Boon and Tobias and Midway. And then as time went on, was bought out in 2009 by Warner Brothers. So we have here the Classic Collection, and we're going to take a look and see what this is all about.
We knew pretty early on that the game was fun to play, people were excited about it.
The most rewarding part of it is just seeing people react to it.
We knew that we were onto something.
It was such a shock to see this game. I was like, I can't believe this game exists.
It became something that added to the mystique of Mortal Kombat.
We're showing you a part of a world that is much larger.
There was no template to make the games. It's a bit of the Wild West.
Every part of that game is an expression of who we were and what we wanted to do.
Flawless victory.
Very nice. So this is a very big deal. Mortal Kombat has been around for a really long time. And I remember when it came out in 1992, I posted this on Twitter. I said, man, it was everywhere. And people were all over the cabs, and it was all over the news for days. It was all over the news, and it was a big deal. And of course, as the different versions of the game would come out and everything, it was a big deal, and still is. Still is a big deal to have a collection of all of these classic games, and they're remastered. They're better. They're on the Nintendo Switch too. Look at that, bam, right there, and the regular Nintendo Switch, Xbox, Steam, PlayStation 5 and 4. So they got everybody, including the Nintendo Switch 2, to do this. Is really a big deal. It's huge. They have rollback in these classic games now. This is a huge deal for the Mortal Kombat retro scene, because there's people that had played and competed in these games from years ago. They didn't have the ability to, keep up with it necessarily in the most clear way. Now they can hop on and play against all their friends. They can go back into competition again. New people are going to see this. They're going to be wanting to get into competition. I have friends that run the retro. They run the retro MK tournaments at the big tournaments, at the big conventions. And this is a huge thing. This is a huge thing for them. So this is a very, very, very big deal for NetherRealm, and I'm very happy for these guys.
We knew pretty
Now,
early
the
on.
first thing is this. This is Galloping Ghost. So that is the first thing. Now, what is ironic about all of this? Galloping Ghost is a very big staple in Chicago. NetherRealm Studios is in Chicago, and I know players that were hired as testers for at the time, the Mortal Kombat games before Injustice came out. And they would go in and they would test, and they were hired for maybe 9 months out of the year. They all lived in Chicago. Now, some of them got hired in to go into larger positions in development and everything. Some of them wanted to keep testing, and then some of them wanted to go and do other things. In the evenings, a couple of nights a week, everybody would go to Galloping Ghost. And at Galloping Ghost, there is a secret hidden back room that is nothing but consoles, monitors, and a stream station and a commentary desk. And that is where the employees and the testers would go from NetherRealm, and they would go and then, you know, of course they would be at the business and test and do all kinds of things, but they would also go to the secret room at Galloping Ghost and then do all kinds of, you know, fun stuff and stream stuff back there. And it was really interesting. I got to see all of that and be a part of it. It was really nice. I'm happy that this is going through and really, really working out for these guys. It's a very big deal. It's a very, very big deal. And the fact that they have, you know, they're trying to show nostalgia here. They're saying, look, this is what started it, was, Ed Boon and Tobias, and, you know, we're starting this all off, but then, and they're showing them in the arcade and everything, but at the same time, this is a huge shout out to Galloping Ghost with all of this. Yeah, Vinny's in Chicago there, you know, and he was able to play the early versions of MK. Yes, yeah. Absolutely, you know.
Game was fun to play. People were excited about it.
The most rewarding part of it is just seeing people react to it.
Now, what makes this also very interesting is that they got people to work on this project from a bunch of different other projects. So we have the Street Fighter 30th anniversary, which I have here. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Cowabunga collection. Atari 50 anniversary collaboration, you know, and then getting all of these different people together that have experience in creating all these other different games is a very big deal, because they all have different experiences and they all have their own perks on doing this, and that they can lend all of that into creating a really good product that's laid out nice and plays really well.
We knew that we were onto something.
It was such a shock to see this game. I was like, I can't believe this game exists.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I was not joking around when I said it was on the news all the time. It was on the news because people couldn't stop playing it. It was on the news because people were going crazy trying to find the machines. They were just crowding around these machines all the time. The arcades were getting 2-3 Mortal Kombat machines at the same time. And it was also on the news because parents and schools were just completely beside themselves because of how, at the time, violent the game was. And, you know, we can kind of look at it and go, oh man, check out these graphics and this looks a little silly and all that. But I'll tell you what, back then when this was the cutting edge, this was a very, very, very big deal. And, you know, you never saw as you're playing a game, who you would consider the hero or a superhero get their head ripped off. That didn't happen, but it did here. And it was just a completely new concept. I thought it was very interesting because, you had Street Fighter come out, and then Street Fighter 2, Fatal Fury comes out, and then we have Mortal Kombat. And I feel, Mortal Kombat had seen the style that Street Fighter was, the success Street Fighter had, and Fatal Fury also balancing with all of that. And they said, okay, you know what? We're going to take that idea and we're going to try to use those expressive colors, but we're going to try to make it as realistic as we possibly can. And then we're going to make it for adults. We're going to make it gory to make it stand out. And they did a great job. They did a great job. So my buddies do Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And there is a scene for a retro scene, a competitive retro scene for that.
It became something that added to the mystique of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, and that's right. Just to say, and it's upsetting. People will nowadays, well, since Injustice, really. No, maybe later in Injustice. There's a lot of Mortal Kombat gets a lot of backlash, and they make really good games. People love playing them. They love the arcade mode. They love the story mode. They love the storyline. All these things. You can't tell me that it's not a good series because they've sold over 100 million games. It always blows my mind because I'll go on Twitter, and hear all this stuff and see all this stuff, read all this stuff, whatever else. When you always look at the number of copies sold, it's always, Mortal Kombat's always high. It's always been that way. Competitively, depending on what game or depending on what patch, it may be, competitively here and there. But when you look at the casual audience, Mortal Kombat sells tons. They're extremely profitable. So it's hard. I mean, it's really hard to say. And, we can say as players of other games, right? Man, my game is great, and this is in the now setting. My game is great, it's balanced a certain way or however it may be or whatever. I think Mortal Kombat, they've taken a lot of adjustments and they've put things in a certain way so that the game is a lot better competitively now, right? The issue is that they've been told by the higher ups that they're going to be using their resources towards other things. And that makes it difficult because they put the right steps in place to make it so that things are better. But they can't capitalize on it further now because they have to listen to what everybody upstairs has to say. So they're actually in a tougher spot when it comes to all of that. But in general, they're not blowing smoke here. 100 million games sold. Extremely profitable, I'll never forget, God bless, some games going out and saying, you know, we've hit these different records for selling all these games, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody's just bashing on Mortal Kombat. Bashing on Mortal Kombat. And then they'll come out and go, hey, we hit $2 bajillion the other day. And we were going, oh my God, you know, they hit $2 bajillion. But, oh yeah, the game's terrible. It's like, people spent $2 bajillion on a terrible game? No, they didn't. No, they didn't. So, I don't know. I mean, it's, I'm happy it's working out for them. And, you know, like I said, historically, a very strong selling series. And I think it's good that they're coming out with a collection like this with rollback. It's very good. Hey, what's up there? Yeah, casual players. Casual players are you know, the market. And you know why that is? Because the truth is that, one, they might not be able to play at a competitive level. Okay? Two, they might be able to play at a competitive level, but they can't travel. Or they can't make it to tournaments or whatever it may be. They just can't make it out. Three, they just want to be entertained. And that's the audience everybody's trying to reach. Everybody. Because they want to make everything accessible. And make it so that they're trying to get these people in so that they can play the game. And I have to, you know, boy, I could really get into some stuff, but at the end of the day, the casual audience is extremely important. And, you know, these companies can balance the games, they can introduce things, they can do things to the best of our interests, right? But at the end of the day, we're a small percentage of what the net sales are. And that's how it is. And they need to focus on making it wholesome for everybody, you know? And I think that's where there's a little bit of a lapse in talking when it's, hey, the competitive scene thinks one thing and they don't want different things put in the game. You know, they don't want modern. They don't want, you know, different things going on. But these companies want that. And they want focus on different things other than just competitive things. Because they're trying to keep their companies in business. They're trying to make money, you know. So, yeah. So, Warner Brothers, crack a beer, yeah, that's right, they want to have fun, and you know what it is? It's all the craziness that happens in Mortal Kombat. People love to see it. I remember some Street Fighter V commercials on TV. I remember some Street Fighter 6 commercials on TV. I remember a decent amount of Street Fighter Cross Tekken commercials on. But every time a Mortal Kombat commercial would come on, people, and it would always be somebody getting ripped to shreds, right? Guaranteed. If I would be in a room with other people that aren't, you know, gamers, right? They'd go, that is so cool. Like, yeah, they love it. They love seeing, you know, all the crazy stuff. It sells. It sells. Oh, I appreciate that. You're very sweet. I appreciate that. You're very kind. You're very kind. But I can see it from all sides, and however the future is for how these games are being developed. Okay, well, actually, we can talk about that too a little bit. I heard, I don't know how true this is, but I had heard that the initial development for Street Fighter 6 was supposed to be modern. And then as it was coming along, they said, you know what? We better bring classic in addition, because we feel that modern isn't going to be, isn't going to go over well enough, right? So classic came in also, supposedly. I don't know the validity of any of this. Number one, that'd be a big change, right? But number two, they want to invite in new people so they can feel like they're doing things. And you can play modern at a level so that you can compete at it. It's and there are some modern players that are extremely good, but you have to also keep an eye out and remember the competitive audience, even though the competitive audience is a little bit smaller. There's a game that, was having a little bit of a rough go, and a small amount of people had gone out and they went on Steam and they put out all these things on Steam. And, and the game is doing a whole lot better now. And then they never went back on Steam and changed it back. And now they've got a bad rating on Steam, and it's concerning. It's concerning. And then people don't think, they don't think, well, it's just a game. I think a lot of us see some of this as, here's these huge entities and, and it's all going to be okay. With the economy and how everything is, I would say, unless you are a massive, massive company, it's always cautious, so I can see where you still want to keep the competitive audience happy, but you have to keep moving into the future, and you have to keep making it so that the casual and more people want to join in and have a good time and everything. And yeah. Classic controls. Yeah. I had heard that. I had heard that somewhere. And it would have been a lot for sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I agree. A lot of internet politics, right? Yeah.
We're showing you a part of a world.
Look at that. It's all the games. Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2. Look at that. Huh. I saw one of the original special made Mortal Kombat arcade sticks. Oh man, is it beautiful. It was it looked like a temple or something on the sides, and then the top was a piece of plexiglass, and then the two dragons, just like this right here, came around the side, and then that's where you had your buttons and joystick. And man, it was just the neatest stick. Extremely rare. It was at one of the Evos. I believe there were only a couple made, and Markman had one, and he had it there. Yeah.
Well, that is much larger.
There was no template to make the games from shit. It's a bit of the
You know, the funny thing about Mortal Kombat is that you can tell as they were going along and doing it, then they just started, the first was, we're going to put this game out. We have an idea of a game. It's fun. We're going to put it out. We're going to see how it goes. It takes off. And then you can tell that they were going, you know what? We're going to have fun with this. And then that's when the friendships came in and the babalities came in and Toasty and the animalities and all the different things that you'd never really imagine.
Every part of that game is an expression of who we were and what we wanted to do.
Flawless victory.
Very nice. Good for them. And like I said, the fact that it's on the Nintendo Switch 2 is really saying something. They reached out and they got that. They got that because technically right now it still isn't even available. It's still not even available right now. But they got it. That's great. Good for them. It looks like a blast. A 3D MK. They were only 3. That's interesting. Yeah. Oh, you have one. It's signed by everybody. That was an actor from the game plus Ed. Ooh, I can't even imagine how rare that is. That is really something. That's really something, seriously. Very impressive. Very impressive. When I saw it at Evo, I immediately started looking it up on my phone, seeing if, how to get one, And I saw how rare, very rare they are. If you have it signed and everything, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how rare that is. Mortal Kombat 2, so many Easter eggs. Yeah, and this is online. Yeah. Yeah, that is very good. That's very good. And, and that's the interesting thing too, remember. So, Mortal Kombat initially is Midway, right? And then Midway was bought out in 2009. And Warner Brothers got NetherRealm Midway and had gotten Atari. Now, Atari had bought out the company that made Primal Rage. And then I'm always saying, oh my God, we need to have a Primal Rage character in one of these games, but I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it would be neat if it did. Actually, that reminds me, the Primal Rage 2 machine was at Combo Breaker. I made a little video with it there, but I haven't posted it yet. But it's a really cool thing, with Atari also, and then the Primal Rage IP is with them. Yeah. Steam. This is just all the fine print down here. Bake sale engine. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, the dragon logo. All related characters and elements and trademarks. Warner Brother Entertainment. Everybody knows the dragon logo. It's just to say, too, I know, we primarily do, Street Fighter and Tekken and everything. But just to say, they make these giant carpets that are, they're like really detailed. They're just these huge, like carpets, right? If anybody, is into, that kind of stuff, the Mortal Kombat carpet is really nice. They did a good job. I'm trying to think of who did it. It's owned by Galloping Ghost. Yes. Actually, I have a funny story about that. So, somehow that machine went up for grabs. And there were only a couple. And Tom Brady, Bill, the MK player, got one of those machines, but it was unusable. Like, it was broken. He gave it to Galloping Ghost to repair it. When you went to the front desk of Galloping Ghost and everything, there's like a hall that goes down the side, and to the right there's a room where there's all these machines in there that need fixed, or maybe new ones that they're trying to get ready to put out. On the left would be that special streaming room. So when I was there for UFGT that Adam Keats had, I walked down that hallway and I looked to my right and I said, oh my God, that's a Primal Rage 2 machine, but it was shut down. They were trying to repair it, so it wasn't on. I said, oh my God, that's crazy. And they got it up and running. Bill still owned it. I don't know if what I heard was he had the arcade hold on to it and just have people there to play it. And I've messaged him back and forth about it a little bit. Because I was like, what are you going to do with that machine? He's like, well, it's just there. You know, I said, okay, you know. Now, it's possible that was the same machine that was at Combo Breaker this year. But I heard, you know, they're pretty rare. You know, they're very, very rare. Now, I don't know if he sold it to Galloping Ghost or, you know, maybe for, you know, charges for repairing the machine. You know, it cost how much the machine was worth. But, yeah. Yeah, that's something, isn't it? Interesting. Mortal Carpets! Oh my goodness, that's like... I thought of Magic Carpet Ride, like Aladdin there. No, there's more games than that. They said...
No template to make the games. It's a bit of the Wild West.
Every part of that game is an expression of who we were and what we wanted to do.
Oh, I went too far in the front. They said there's a couple of different ones in there. Here. And more. So they said 1, 2, 3, Ultimate, and 4, and more. Which might mean all the different variations and versions and, you know, everything else along the way. Yeah. Capcom versus game. Sure. Yeah, I bet. They were prototypes. Yeah. Yeah, they were prototypes. Oh, really? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's something. I remember in my arcade, there was a regular Mortal Kombat machine, but it was some sort of a deluxe kind of machine. The screen was very big, and it was rectangular, and it was set back. And then there was a stand for it, and then it would come across like maybe about 4 feet. And then the stand that you played on, you know, with the person it was against was right there, and it had these 2 huge speakers on the side. I mean, it was crazy. The guy that had the arcade in our mall, he got a really good Primal Rage machine, you know. Yeah. The Dynamo Showcase cabinet. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. Oh my god. That thing looked like it weighed like a ton. It was big. Here, let me see. We'll see. Let me see here. I've only seen them a couple of times. Here. No. It's like that, though. It looked like this, but a little, it looked like that. You could purchase them as kits with screens of 40 inches. That might have been it then. Yeah, I remember the screen was huge. Yeah, it was a huge machine. It was a huge machine. Let's see if I can find a carpet here. This is it. Oh. It looked like this. Carpet diem. That's funny. What's up there? How are you? What's going on? We're doing, we did the new Marvel Arc System review. And now we're doing Mortal Kombat. Yeah. That's as big as you can get with a CRT. Yeah, it was a big machine. I only saw a couple of them like that. Yeah, I can't find any of the original ones. Let's see here. Let's see. I remember seeing it on eBay, and somebody had it on there for like $5,000. I remember that. But it wasn't the same one that was in them all. I mean, it was the same machine, but not the same machine. That machine, it looked like it was taken care of real well. The other one I saw looked like it was a little beat up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. Yeah, it was huge. Wait a minute. This might be it. It's for sale. I don't know if this is it or not. No, this isn't it. Oh, $350. I can't even believe that. That's crazy. It's sold. Oh my god. It's amazing. Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's something. Well, okay, everybody. Is there anything else anybody would like to go over with this Mortal Kombat announcement? It's a very big deal. Very, very big deal. Unannounced titles. Yeah, I think it's early. They're just trying to build up, you know what I mean? Put out, you know, the first bit of information, get some excitement going. I think they'll do more, you know, the closer we get. Oh, all kits. That's interesting. 3 versus 3 basketball game. Huh. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. Yeah, I think they'll have it.
It became something that added to the mystique of Mortal Kombat.
We're showing you a part of a world.
Actually, you know what? I'm just curious. Wow. So, just to say, okay, since according to the internet, since September of 2023 launch, MK1, this one, the one people are complaining about, has sold 5 million copies. That was more than Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat 10. Which is even crazier, because 9 and 10, we were all saying, you know, it's competitively great, right? This one sold more. Let's see what MK11 did. The Mortal Kombat 11 is the best-selling MK game ever. It said... Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Mortal Kombat 11 sold over 15 million copies. It says it's the 5th best-selling game of 2019 and the 4th best-selling PlayStation 4 game. And by 2022, it sold more than 15 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling game in the MK franchise. Because I remember, too, somebody had put a post out a couple of months ago saying that MK1 was doing very well on PlayStation. I remember that, but... yeah, that's something. Good for them. You know, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 was good. Mortal Kombat 1 is good too. Mortal Kombat 1's good too. Alright, everybody. If anyone else has anything that they would like to add to this, then we're going to head out and get some games in with Elena in Street Fighter there, okay? So, anything else anyone wants to add about MK? Top 20 on PlayStation. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. I remember somebody posting something about that. Yeah. Yeah, it was something about PlayStation. That's right. Let's see. We'll look it up real quick. Wow. So, according to the PlayStation Store, they're saying the top 5 games, the top 5 best PlayStation 5 games of 2025, Resident Evil Village, Mortal Kombat 11, and it's like $5. Gran Turismo, Disco Asylum, Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls, Last of Us, and Baldur's Gate. That's something. No, good for them. That's great. Injustice? Let's see. Actually, that's a good question. Whoa. Screwed up there. Did it again. Okay, so the first Injustice sold 2 million copies. It said Injustice 2 sold 2 million as well. The game generated $800 million in the first 24 hours of its release. And that's according to I don't think that's a strong... well, it just says Reddit, which... that's not anything. How much did Injustice sell? It says... 900,000. Well, that was back in 2013. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This is all 2013 numbers. Yeah, I don't know. MK95 movie theme. Oh, added to the game franchise. The old school versus the new school. All right, everybody. We're going to head out here. I hope you guys had a wonderful time with Mortal Kombat. Lots to look forward to with this, and very exciting. You know, very, very exciting stuff there. I'm happy for these guys. This looks like it's going to be a really nice collection and everything. So we are going to put on Elena. We're going to test Elena in Street Fighter and just see how she is and what she's about. And I hope you guys had a great time. I will be back soon. Bye.